Let me give everyone a couple seconds to get settled, get in their seats, silence their phones. Hope everyone's enjoying the symposium so far. This is my first in-person LOA. Let's get straight to it then. How do we overcome the barriers that are blocking our way? How are we supposed to be the best? How are we supposed to provide and leverage that presence of power to where we can be number one again? I'm Taylor Mogford. You can call me Mog. I have 12 years in the Air Force, and I've been with Improved Group for coming up on 5 years now. I've done 3 deployments, 6 TDYs, countless accolades, and I've closed over 40 projects from January of 2018 in innovation. It's possible, and I'm here for one purpose, and that's to keep the me's in our Air Force, to breathe new life in y'all and reinvigorate y'all to take the helm again and really empower our airmen to make our Air Force better. But it doesn't matter how many resources you have. If you don't know how to leverage them, it'll never be enough. The problem is the perception is coming from a lack of understanding. It's bureaucracy. We're not necessarily to blame. Industry is evolving. Technology is evolving every day. By the time that we get new tech, it's outdated. And what we've done is we've just built this pile of ladders that is preventing us from peeking over the wall to see from where we want to be. It's not a new concept, though. There's hope. Procter & Gamble was actually one of the first to push through a lot of the Internet of Things and smart logistics as a methodology. They were early adopters. And Kevin Ashton was the one that coined Internet of Things. He wanted to leverage and pitch RFID to senior leaders as a new and exciting emerging technology, and he saw the writing on the wall where this was heading. And this was during a dot-com boom, during the up and coming of the internet. And you'll get to see just how massive this industry is today. Again, it's tough to understand really why we haven't adopted this sooner. But these graphs and just this snippet of even seeing this will help. Look at how complex this is. All the different components, all the things that make this so confusing and complicated. It's not hard to see that something that's just sensors integrated into cargo for real-time tracking could have taken a while to be adopted into our Air Force to make things completely better and to be evolved upon. But we'll simplify it. Really, it's just a future where everything is interconnected. That's logistics all day. You do this every day. You may not even realize it. Communicating through devices, through networks, communicating through geographically separated units, coordinating for members to go downrange. Those are all logistics movements. Each device that's interconnected is really a representation of the logistics routes that you make happen. and it's a massive industry. Kevin was able to get the pulse on this and understand just how much this was going to blow up. 2012, 8.7 billion devices in homes in commercial use. 2024, we're going to break 1 trillion. That's insane. In 12 years, this will be the growth of how this is going to be adopted in your family households, in mine, in our adversaries. Just to give you an idea of scope of just how large this is. Just smart home tech alone, no broad scoped assets. Just the tech that makes our homes convenient that we use, 190 billion last year. And that was a growth from 79 billion the year before. Pretty easy to see how it's going to hit 1 trillion. It's time for us to get on board. This is an easy representation of just how many pieces of Internet of Things are interconnecting your household that helps support you while you're at work doing the mission. This is being used by your kids, your spouses, your buddies who are house sitting. We're already leveraging this. So why can't we do it for our airmen? Why can't we make a space, an organization that we call home, that we drive mission, that we learn and practice from, that revolves around us and our mission, instead of piecemealed together? Logistics and planning go hand in hand. We've got log planners. Civil engineering is in mission support groups with us. Support's important. You're important. We have to get better together. And that's part of what we've been working on. Building the agility that matches your capability so that you can be better. And it's actually relatively easy. We weren't the first adopters. This has evolved. Medical logistics is able to automate a large portion of their process to keep nurses in ERs to provide better care more with 5 simple steps. And it's things that we do already. But it can reduce waste by automating these processes. Think about contact tracing apps with COVID. Thinking about prescriptions. It's already here. We're already leveraging this within healthcare and the environment we're in now. It's innovation for our airmen. I want to give a quick shout out to AI Williams for this image, for the automated shelves, for the CPK. This is how close to home it's getting. It's already on our flight lines. Imagine a maintainer typing in their man number just to log in, and then all they do is pull the tool out. No ordering, no issuing needed. It knows what tool has been pulled out of its shelf. How much time would that save you if you didn't have to look for a lost tool just once a month, once a year? It's ranges for our defenders. It's ranges for TAC-P, for PJs, giving them a realistic environment instead of a blank target, giving them actionable data to get better, to reduce cadre time. I'm sure everyone knows how long of a day it is to go and fire and qual, to go deploy. It's a nightmare. And you know what? Logistics isn't just an industry. That's right. You as a logistician, you're so much more. And I'd like to lead into that with a story. I did a sprint last year for A4 and LOA, tackling education and training. And it was my first chance to really challenge myself in the different methodologies that I had learned as a logistician, as a project manager, as a professional, where I really had to take all those things to solve a problem. And I realized very quickly that the only way to solve something quickly is if you know where you're going. And that's what we did here. We worked it from the end back to understand the problem and understanding what our ideal state was and where we wanted to go. And I'm here to tell you, if I can do it, you can. In a way, we're all project managers. We're not just logisticians. We have to deal with constraints with people, money, time, and often how we perform or our quality has a large part in how we measure how we've done. It's never easy, but we make it happen. Not every innovation or process improvement has to be as groundbreaking as the shovel or as remarkable as the whiteboard. It can be simple. And it's because of your methodology that you have as a logistician allows you to see the process and understand each movement that's cumbersome. Your understanding of infrastructure and logistics is the key to building a better enterprise. And what I want to ask you to do is leverage that. Look at the top boarding pass. Look how crazy that is. I'm sure a lot of us don't even use that anymore. We just use the app on our phone. But look at how much smoother the boarding pass below it looks. You can hand that to anybody, and they can figure out when they leave, where they're sitting, where they need to be so that they can get to their destination, and where they're heading. And by now, I'm sure you've made the correlation between resource management, being a logistician, having to wear multiple hats and be a project manager, dealing with scarcity. That's right. It's economics. It's defense economics. It's logistics all day. It's having to deal with scarce resources. Maybe not the best real estate and land to house the infrastructure itself. It's all of our capital, whether it's our airmen, our equipment, our vehicle fleet, our jets. It's our ability to be innovators. We've had to be creative for a long time to make our mission happen. You and me both know that. And that's all led in those lines of effort and that charge by logistics. It's you that juggles this rope pull to make this happen. For me, I'm going to coin smart logistics as the omega. It's the end state. It's the end goal. It's forecasting where we want to be. And you know what? Logisticians make great resource managers. I'm willing to bet everyone in this room today has been at one point in their career under a time constraint. I'm sure you've had to operate with scarce funding. I'm sure you've had to deal with the confines of AFI and regulations. And I'm willing to bet that you've had to do it with maybe not as many people as you would have liked. That's right. This is defense economics. And you are our greatest resource. Understanding the resources in that chart line in the paradigm shift is important. It's taking all of our traditional resources. It's taking the evolution of our human capital. It's understanding our real estate and the innovative opportunities happening within the innovation community, within industry, that's changing our economic supply curve in defense. It's charting our new supply curve towards our omega. And you're going to be able to be the ones who get to lead this charge. So you're probably thinking, well, what am I going to be able to do about that? I have these scarce resources. How can I really make my organization better today? Well, that's why I wanted to give you a quick insight into there's ways that you can act right now. An example on our journey to smarter logistics and how we can get better, how we can understand how to leverage our tools and be the best again. It's not complex as you may think. It just takes the different shift in the paradigm and the perspective. A simple example of this, and what you can take home today, is leveraging Internet of Things right now via something as simple as forklift tines that weigh cargo. I know, right? Who would have thought? You know how many people it takes to run a CDF yard? And then you have shifts, day and night shifts. You're having to pull across an LRS and from other squadrons to make it happen. How much would it help with resource management and your ability to run defense economics with Omega if you were able to reduce the amount of marshalers and end checkers you needed in a CDF, and if you were able to push it out just ever so slightly faster? That's just the tip of the iceberg. It's premier support for maintenance, for a flight line. It's premier support for those in the mission support groups, whether they're CE or they're defenders, whether they're logisticians or maintainers, whether you're a back shop or you're a crew chief. We can automate the simple areas and give you back that time. It's team collaboration. It's getting your members involved. It's identifying that we're a learning organization. And by that I mean we practice, we learn, and then when we go play, we don't get to fail. It's enabling creativity, and it's fostering a problem solver through competency-based learning. We won't always be able to be there for our airmen. We need to be able to make them the best that they can be so that they can solve these problems that we won't be there to help them with. That's leveraging Omega. It's strategically planning the ideal end state. But simply, it's people first. It's being better together. The tension's here. You as a logistician have to constantly do the rope pull with this invisible force that's making our lives difficult via those scarce resources. Not enough airmen. Not enough bodies to put across the shift. Not enough vehicles in the fleet. Maybe it's not enough parts, or it takes too long to get parts. You're having to juggle the wants and needs of scarce resources under the confines of having to deliver every time. You're pulling at capital, making it happen because you see the goal. And that is what's holding that tension together, allowing you to pull across the finish line. So let's solve tomorrow's problems. Yeah. It starts with you. This has been the journey to smarter logistics. Again, I'm Mog. It's been a pleasure to be able to have you all here today. And I will remain here for the rest for some Q&A. But at the end, I'd like to chat about professional development focused planning, how we can solve complex problems, maybe talk about some of the innovation projects I've closed, and give you a look at what Improve Group's doing with Internet of Things through virtual rooms and environments to train in, so that we can build tomorrow's problem solvers. With that, I'll open it up